The roles of manager is divided into three categories or three roles. The one is the interpersonal roles, second one is the information roles, and the third one is decisional roles. So in interpersonal roles also we have some thing like the role as a leader, the role as a liaison, the role as a figurehead, and in information role also he has a role as a monitor, disseminator, as well as monitor, disseminator, or spokesperson. In decisional, he can be a resource allocator, negotiator, negotiator, entrepreneur. So these are some of the roles: entrepreneur or disturbance handler. So these are some of the roles of a manager. So roles of a manager is divided into three categories. One is the interpersonal roles, information roles, decisional roles. So in interpersonal roles, he can be a leader, he can be a liaison, he can be a figurehead. In information roles, he can be a monitor, he can be a disseminator, or he can act as a spokesperson. In decisional roles, he can be a disturbance handler, he can be a negotiator, he can be a resource allocator, or he can be an entrepreneur. So when we talk about this interpersonal role, so what is it about? So this role is concerned with is interaction with the people, uh, like it can be the people within the organization or it can be people outside the organization. So that's why we have three different roles. So when he's acting as a leader, so this role involves leading the subordinates, motivating them, and also encouraging them. So this is the role of a manager when he acts as a leader. So as a leader, he has to lead the subordinates, he has to motivate them, and he has to encourage them. So when he's acting as a liaison, the manager will act or he will serve as a connection link between his organization and the outsiders. This manager should cultivate the contacts outside his vertical chain to get or to collect informations that will be useful for us organization. So this is one such role. And also when he's acting as a figurehead, he has to perform the duties of ceremonial nature, like attending social functions of employees, uh, taking the important customers to lunch, and so on. So these are the roles which are expected from the manager. The second one is the information roles. So what is this information roles? So this information roles, it will involve communication. So information is all about communication. So here also we have three different kinds of roles. One is the monitor, the second one is the disseminator, and the third one is the spokesperson. So whenever the manager is acting like a monitor, so in this role, the manager will continuously collect the information about about the factors or about all the factors which will affect his activities. So these factors can be within the organization or this can be outside the organization. Whenever he's performing the role of a monitor, so the manager will collect the information about the factors which are affecting his activities. So this can be within the organization or outside the organization. So next one is disseminator. So disseminator means the manager possesses some of the privileged informations to his subordinates who otherwise will not be in a position to collect it. So here it is about passing the information. So in this disseminator role, the manager will have some uh, information, which needs to be given to his subordinates. Otherwise, those subordinates will not be in a position to collect it. So this is the role of a disseminator. And the last one is spokesperson under information role. If the manager is acting as a spokesperson, so the manager will represent the organization. So he will represent his organization in which he is working when is acting as a spokesperson. So he will represent the organization and also he'll interact with the outsiders. Like these outsiders can be the financiers, they can be government agencies, they can be the customers, or they can be clients or the customers, or they can be the supplier. So here the manager is acting as a representative for that organization. So this is with respect to the information roles. So when we talk about this decisional roles, so it involves choosing the best options among all. So when we have multiple options, this decisional role involves making the best options among all others so that the organizational objective can be achieved in an efficient manner. So the first one is entrepreneur. So as an entrepreneur, the manager should assume certain risk in terms of the outcome of an action. So the manager should constantly keep on checking for the newer ideas, and also he should seek to improve his unit by adapting to the dynamic environment. The second one is resource allocator. So resource allocator means uh, um, disposing the available resource in the organizational project based on the requirement. So based on the requirement, he has to dispose the available resource in the organizational project based on the requirement. And one more point is negotiator. So in the role of a negotiator, so the manager has to negotiate with various groups inside the organization. So these groups can be like employees, they can be shareholders, or even they can also be the outside agencies. The outside agencies also possible. So when he acts as a negotiator, he has to negotiate with various people. So these people can be from different groups. So they can be employees, they can be shareholders, and also they can be the outside agencies. And the last role is disturbance handler. So in this role, manager will contain forces and events which will disturb the normal functioning of his organization. So here the forces and event may be employee, or it might be an employee complaints, it can be grievances, it can be a shortage of resources like raw material, or it can be strikes also. So whenever there is some event and forces which will disrupt the normal functioning of an organization, the manager has to handle that. So in that case, his role will be like a disturbance handler. As a disturbance handler, he has to contain this forces and events so that the normal functioning of his organization will not be disrupted. So these are the roles of a manager. So we have interpersonal roles, we have information roles, and we have decisional roles. So in that also the roles are categorized further as a leader, as a liaison, as a figurehead, as a monitor, as a disseminator, as a spokesperson, as a disturbance handler, as an entrepreneur, as a resource allocator, and as a negotiator.